So I have this residential call to go on. I have these pictures sent to me ahead of time. And the one picture, it looks a bit brownish, and one picture looks a bit black, and the other looks a bit green. So we really don't know. We're going to try to prepare for those colors a little bit ahead of time so we have something close when we get there. So what I've tried to do is gather everything that I needed before the call. And what I have here, of course, a power cord. I have drop cloths, the most important thing, right? We want to make sure we don't drop any paint anywhere in the house. It could cost us more than we make. Then, what might we do? We might need some stitching. I have a little bit of a couple sewing kits here. I've got something to prep with. I've got some lighting sources. I have this, which I can sit on the floor. I have a headlamp. I have also this light. So we have lighting sources for a dimly lit house. I have also a hair dryer here, uh, Bounty towels, and a strap because I can sling this over my shoulder, trying to make everything in one trip if I can. I have a box just for residential. We mentioned the color. So I have some pre-mixed brown colors, leftover colors, that is. I do have a black in here as well, and I do have a green pigment. So whichever way we need to go on the color, once we get there, I think we can do it. Of course, we always can go back to the truck if we have to. But just trying to prepare so we have as little work in the house as possible. Now, I will probably dab on some color. I don't know if we can get away with that. I have a sponge here that I can dab with. Also the Bounty towels to dab with. If we need to spray a little bit of color with a Prevel sprayer, I have two that I've tested and know that they work. Of course, you need a backup. Plus, I already have everything in the van should I need to go back out in the van. Now, I have two heat repair compounds and an air dry filler that will do any of those jobs that I need. As far as heat sources, I have a small iron, a big iron, Teflon, chill bar. I've got a small electric heat gun here, a nice small portable one for the box. I have some graining pads. I got a chill bar, strainer here. So I have some tools. I also have a flamethrower here. We haven't talked much about that, but sometimes that comes in handy. And that's it. So I think I'm ready to go. I try to imagine every step of the way through and make sure I have everything here. So I have one clean box that's going to be just for my residential call, so it looks nice and clean going in the house. And of course, a little tote that looks nice and clean. I don't use these as everyday kits because you want to look nice and clean when you go in the residence. On arriving at the residence, I saw that I was able to tilt the couch forward to make it easier to work on. That was good. The room is very dark, so I got another light from the van. That way I can better see this pattern and better see the color. And it looks so much different than the pictures they sent. And we're ready to go. So one leg of the tear required the use of the baseball stitch to pull everything together and to keep it tight and level. And the next leg required the double needle blind stitch because that was in the existing seam. So that's pretty straightforward stuff if you've been watching the channel for a while. Now we've got to cover over top of our stitching. To do this, I'm going to use a structural heat cure repair compound, and this has added plastic powder in it for extra strength. We're going to embed that into our stitching and use the ironing method, of course, to keep everything flat. And of course, as we know, that will flatten out the stitching as well. I am going to speed through these just for the sake of brevity for our video, but I'll include all the steps. What I favor doing at this point in the repair is targeting only the spots that need filling. If there's a little recess here, go just for only that one small spot, instead of trying to recover the entire repair again. That way we avoid building it up too high. And as you know, if we build it up too high, it's impossible to take it back down. So here I'm just cleaning that off a little bit with the alcohol prep and a little guide coat color here. And then you can see we have that little bit of recess there, that little divot right there that needs filled in. And that's what we're going to target, that and that alone. It might seem like it's a few more steps, but you'll discover you have more control. There you go. So that completes everything that requires a structural repair. Now, with the scuffs that are left, we have only to anchor down these flaps. So it's the glue, remove the excess glue, and then as the glue is drying and getting tacky, we can tamp these flaps down flat. Sometimes that's all you need to do because the glue oozes out from between the flaps there. But we're going to add a little bit of a filler step right on top, using the guitar pick to clean out the seam. And now for the filler step to even this out. For the fillers that I use, I can wipe them dry and have more of a leveling effect, or I can wipe them wet and get a feathering effect, depending on what stage of the repair I'm at. So we have two more scuff areas to do, and it's just going to be a repeat of what we already have seen. We'll breeze through it here quickly. Remember, we never sand these air dry fillers. We can feather it just fine chemically, here in this case using the alcohol. In this instance, dry wiping the filler leaves it level. And we're melting the edges again with the alcohol. Now it's time to analyze our color. We do have it close as a guide coat, but we have to make some final adjustments, of course. So this couch looks very violet to me, but in a certain light it looks green. And my color is more violet than green. Here too, reddish more than green. Looking over here, again, it's dark and it's red. So green is going to be the direction we're going to go with our color adjustment. We're going to go green and just a little bit light for value. Here's the adjustment. So this color is working perfectly for our base coat color. Of course, we have a top coat color too, the darker one. And I am going to apply that with the Preval sprayer. I realize that the disdain for the Preval is ubiquitous amongst the craftsman community. Here, though, it works really well. Plus, I get to use the word ubiquitous, and that counts. So we're going to get a spattering of the color with a very low atomization with the Preval, of course, but that'll be sufficient here. And we have not had to bring in any other spray equipment into the house, and that's important. The base coat color looks really good. Now we're going to separate some off and add black for this print color. It's worth mentioning that you may not see the difference in this print color until it's dried, because then, and only then, will the darkness of it be revealed. So go easy at first, sparingly at first.
Oh, they laid it on its side on the steps, bringing it in because they tried to put it in straight and it wouldn't fit through the
Right, they had to sit it down for a minute. Yeah, and there you go. There you go. Well, there you go. You have everything from the preparation to the finish. Soup to nuts on this one. I hope you found something informative here, something helpful for you, because we do try to address each aspect of our industry, no matter what your market is. And I'm going to leave you with the phenomenon of purple martins getting ready to roost here at sunset.